Shang Yu, male, place of birth China, occupation gang affiliate, location. Execute the target someplace up north where no one can see or hear. Before target is eliminated, recite the words for the cause. Eric Trigg, gender male, place of birth Sweden, occupation police officer, location. Execute the target in a place you feel safe or comfortable. Before target is eliminated, recite the words for the cause. Diego de Leon, gender male, place of birth Vice City, occupation New Epsilon employee, location. Execute the target in one of your properties. Before target is eliminated, recite the words for the cause.
All right, now you pick one.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. You can have like a few minutes. Like you don't have to decide like right now, but decide
okay.
before we leave right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like each target that seems easy, the way you're supposed to kill him is difficult. Each target that seems hard, the way you're supposed to kill him is like easier, right? So you gotta pick.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, but that's not how this works.
Okay, well,
like,
what am I supposed to base this off anything?
The book is telling you to pick. Follow what the book says. Select a file. Pick any file. She should read the book and then she'll understand more. Like you just simply pick. Like the book literally just told her that like you're gonna just kill and you're gonna do it based on like just obedience and because you're told to. What's making you so hesitant on selecting somebody?
I'm just thinking of the ability to do it without my name being out there after.
Okay.
For example, I probably would have picked Trig, but he will never be off duty. He will communicate everything before he does it.
I don't think you should assume the things you can't or won't change. Try to maybe plan what you can, right? Like you could definitely pull on certain strings to get him off duty to hang out with you. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I agree with that 100%, but I do believe he would tell Moss that he was going to speak to me.
I can't really say too much, so that's how she feels. That's how she feels.
All right, I'll do Diego.
There's a test within a test, guys. Just so you guys know. You sure?
Yeah.
Why Diego?
I think I can pull that off best.
That's the only reason why.
Yes.
You were sure about that? There's no other reason why you chose Diego?
Yes, I'm sure about that.
Okay. It's got nothing to do with your hate for the guy. 0% has nothing to do for your hate for this guy. And the 17 0%. Daggers in the photo downstairs in the basement.
It doesn't. It does not.
Okay.
2 days ago, I was wearing matching outfits with him, running around.
Yeah, but just make sure you're not subconsciously choosing him for the wrong reasons. I mean, you do that, your fail is inevitable. Your death is inevitable. Just remember that.
I could do any of these names. It is not about my feeling towards him.
All right. Give me the other files back. Don't fail. I think if CJ is genuinely doing it for like the right reasons, then I do agree like Diego's the best pick, right? Like it's very easy. I think it is the easiest one for her to pull off. See, I'm a motherfucker like the challenge though. I would have personally picked Trig. You could set up some cool shit to try to execute the guy. But again, it'll be very difficult to pull that off. That's why it's cool to see. It would be cool just to do these trials with other people, just to see like what other people would do, you know. Oh, I can show you guys the files too if you guys want to see what it looks like. Yeah, so you guys look. I've learned how to make books thanks to Cap. I made this all myself, except for the actual asset of the book, but I made everything else myself, guys. I added a little photo, I added a little paper clip. Look at that, man. Level it up, you know. Come on now, come on now. I'm learning, dude. Leveling it up. Okay, so now that you've picked your target, you'll come up with a plan, and before you execute the plan, I want that related to me specifically, okay, in detail, on how you think you will do it and what you think you'll need to do to carry out the execution. Again, any trace of it being you will have failed. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that Diego can't know it's you, because he's dead either way. Just make sure no matter what he
okay,
he doesn't remember.
Okay.
But if Diego were to remember and start telling people your name, you failed. And the inkling of him thinking it was you, and it spreads throughout the city, it failed. That is why it's very important for you to have really thought who you should have picked there. Diego's an easy kill. Of course it is. But if I'm Diego and I end up in an accident, end up in the hospital, and somebody tells me about it, I'd probably suss you out first. Or I could see him coming to the conclusion of it being you. Due to the tension you guys have had and the nature of your relationship up until you guys became friends or whatever. So he might actually be the hardest kill for you. So good luck.
Okay.
Trigger's still the hardest? Nah, Diego's the hardest on like who he would suss out. I think the easiest kill for her would have been Shang. I don't think he would have had a single clue it was CJ. I mean, it's such a random killing in his mind. I think there's a world where she tries to execute Diego, he lives, he ends up in the hospital, Eliza shows up, they have conversations, and they suss out CJ. I think there's a world that happens, but we'll see. But this is where things hopefully start to feel way more serious for CJ, you know? Do you think you picked the easiest kill of the three?
Just tried not to... Like, I tried to forget what I know about all of them when I picked.
Do you think he's the easiest kill, though, or no?
Do I think he's the easiest kill? No. No. I mean, I think he's... Okay, I think he's the easiest kill, but I think he's the hardest one to keep it... Or second hardest one to keep it covered up. I think Trig is impossible to not trace back to me. Shang I haven't had contact with in ages.
I think you sell your abilities short a little bit. I think there's definitely ways that, like for Trig, for example, it could have been done very easily without it coming back to you. You just have to think of how you would do that.
But the issue with him is that he, when it comes to me, he wraps up somebody else in it as well every single time, so they would know.
Yeah,
instantly,
but like
if I
you were
contacted him.
to assume like one thing the person constantly does, like you would just never get anywhere. Like you have to tell yourself, yeah, maybe there's a world where he just doesn't do that, or I can convince him to not do that. Like listen, if we ever find ourselves in a world where we're trying to take out high priority targets, let's say for the faces, for example, right? We can't just assume the one thing they do, they'll always do. Otherwise, there'll never be any hope into pulling something off. You should be realistic, but you also should have a bit of confidence into how you would do it. You could also apply the knowledge you've learned from your first two lessons into the third one too, right? So if you needed to make a disguise, you could have done that. If you needed to even be somebody who in his life that he maybe even wouldn't second guess it was you, you know what I mean? There's so many other ways you could approach it. You could be a fucking delivery man, knocking on his door to give him a box, and the box is a fucking gun. You pull the trigger, we'll never know it's you. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to kill a motherfucker, but they can never know it's you. You could have poisoned his fucking lunch, sat across the fucking other side of the room before he ate the fucking sandwich, recite the words, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
I think you kind of tunneled a little bit too much on it, like being literal, that just a literal killing, fucking knife to the throat or some shit, when the reality is you could get very creative with it. The only requirement you have is the location, right? So as long as it meets that, everything else you can just do whatever you think is best.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I was taking into account with Trig as well, just the location.
Get creative with it, as creative with it as you want.
Okay.
Party was here for the cause, and I fear the target. The target doesn't need to hear or say that. This is not a lesson, but the guys, like, the kill doesn't mean anything. This is a lesson for CJ, bro. She doesn't have to say it in front of the target. She just has to recite the words before she executes the man or woman. The book did not say you have to say it and they have to hear you. Like, what? Well, let me go grab my cane.